interested in the sport, and you get a passion for catching these marvellous creatures. But when you get involved in a club like Townsville that's got such a rich history and camaraderie and mateship, it's it's pretty catching. It get hold of you, and you really want to be a part of it, and you want to build it, and you want to keep it alive to grow for years to come. To watch the friendships that grow within the club, and watch the people that have been around, since the very conception of the club, raise their kids through it, and those kids are now raising their kids in it. It's a true testament to what this club is all about and what it was built on. From the guys that put this club together, over 40 years ago, they were a bunch of mates that had a common theme and a common goal of love and a passion for fishing, and that still lives true today. And it's more than just about the competitiveness. It's about the friendships that you make along the way, and you can have for life.
This tournament is, it's why we do our light tackle fishing. It's, that's what we're here for, to catch them, get us all together. It's a massive thing for us, the tournament.
I really reckon this comp is great. The club is awesome. They're organised, they're friendly, everyone's cool. So it's a really nice comp to fish in. So yeah, I'll be doing it more often, I think, every year.
My missus is into it, kids are into it, everyone's into it, and it's pretty cool to see that everyone loves the game fishing side of things as much as we do.
Thanks everybody for joining us tonight. We're not only gathered to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the famous Billfish Challenge, but we're also here to celebrate the 40 years of the Townsville Game Fishing Club. It isn't a wonder, with such a beautiful history and strong history of this club, that some of the biggest names in this sport join us to celebrate this momentous occasion tonight in the room. Jim Delling, Peter and Lee O'Brien, Chris CJ Jones, Dave Pemberton, Laurie Wright, Luke Felon, Anthony Florence, the son of the great Malcolm Florence, just to name a few people in the room with us this evening.
champion boat for 2021 and 22 with 14,200 points for the year, Incognito.
It's somebody that encompasses everything that this club's about, and I think everybody experienced this week knows what's that about. It's hard work. It's somebody that gives you their time. It's somebody that's considerate of everybody else, doesn't whinge, digs in and gets the job done, and encompasses all the spirit that we've got in this club. The committee set to a vote for this one this year, and it was pretty unanimous how this one went for the tireless work and effort that does behind the scene, never gets any thanks, and I don't think a lot of people know what she does do, but it goes to Tamara Medill this year. Thank you very much, Madara.
All right, our top three. Nomination 1, Maddie Beethan. Early in the year, Team Beeline had a great weekend spent in Horseshoe Bay on one of the club's moorings. Unfortunately, when it came time to release from the mooring, it's all gone a bit pear-shaped. After about 10 minutes of trying to untangle everything, a very irate Matty has come down from the tower, run down the bow with his boat hook to show him how it's done. It said Matty's boat hook and rope still there today. Nomination 2, Stab Bogiatzis. I'm pretty sure Stabby's already on this trophy as well. Last year, Stab's taken the new boat out to Myrmidon Reef. He stopped for a bit of a ready fish on the way out, so he didn't get to Myrmidon until late. This meant having to have a crack at entering the lagoon in the dark. And as you can see, it didn't end too well. Nomination 3, Liz Travers. Where is she? It's well... Well, can you guess who the winner is? Come on, Liz.
For day 1 on a count back, Rehab. For day 2, Makira. For day 3, Emma Kate. And finally, on day 4, also on a countback, was Incognito.
Presentation, I was blown away. I saw the future president of the Townsville Game Fishing Club, the future club captain, the future secretary, the future treasurer. None of them know it yet, but they are. That what those kids did, and the enthusiasm and the passion they had, and the fun they had. And that was only at the presentation, was incredible. Now that doesn't happen all by itself. That happens because there are 2 or 3 or 4 or more particularly committed people who really push it, get it going, follow it through and stick with it. It's been a long time since this has happened, but tonight I'm going to present a GFAA Meritorious Service Award to Bernie Travers.
But this next little video is a bit of a tribute to the past 40 years of the club. Keep an eye out for faces in the boats you might recognise, and also try counting how many sets of budgie smugglers you might see in there.
Here he goes!
The only Lions wide world of sport.
We were fishing up in Innisfail, 1980, 1981, and there's a group of us together, Jimmy Dowling, the boat I fished on, the Javelin, Peter O'Brien on the Dawdler, and a group of others, just general into game fishing. We were fishing a light tackle tournament, and we said we should have something like this down in Townsville. The guy I fished with, Eddie Coditis, the owner of the Javelin, took it upon himself to call a meeting. Took us probably 18 months after that original discussion before we got it together. 20 people rocked up to that meeting. We formed the club, the Townsville Game Fishing Club. Shortly after that, we learnt that there was a game fish club in Townsville prior to us called the Townsville and Great Barrier Reef Game Fish Club, which had gone defunct a couple of years before. We managed to find the assets of that in one of the banks in town, and we seized those assets, and that kicked the club off. So I would say probably in about 1981 or 1982 that we formed the club. The meeting was first held about the middle of the year. Most of us were away fishing at the time. We were all heavily into charter fishing, either as professional skippers or professional crew. So yeah, the club survived for the first few years just with a handful of people, but it gradually gathered strength and continued on to where it is today.
Since it started, even before it started, we rescued, there was that for years, and then we rescued it and had several meetings at the club, at the motorboat club. It was the motorboat club in those days. And we ran it for 2 or 3 years, and then the committee of the Townsville Game Fishing Club took it over, and Anthony Florence was involved, and Malcolm, his father, was involved in the first one, and people like Ray Kent, that they're in their 80s and 90s now, and they successfully got a game fishing club organised out of Townsville, and that's where I first went out. I ran a boat, a charter boat called the Kirsten in Townsville as a skipper, not as a boat builder. I fished, I caught this 986 black marlin, and that got me off the ground. You know, I loved it, and that was the way it went.
Look, there was always talk back in the day of these little marlins and sailfish being out here, and back before the club formed up, they might have been gone, I'm not sure. They started hunting from out the back of the palms, and it was a bit of a niche thing. They were looking for these little fish, and I know Malcolm Tollins, he was heavily involved in it. But a lot of the guys, Jimmy Dowling back, he had his big cat back then, and then the O'Brien started with, well, I think before that Jimmy Peter was on a Haynes, he had a 773 Haynes, I'm pretty sure, something like that. And then Pete started building the 33s. But they started looking around down at Bowling Green for him, and it's a bug. And they run over one and they think, well, they're here. Let's, we go find them. And that was the idea of it. So I think there are half a dozen of the guys, and they're all still involved in the club now. Calvin, CJ, Jim, Dave Pemberton, they all kicked off the club, and they're still involved in the club. And it's all about catching those little marlins and sailfish. Some of the fishing has just been amazing. I know one year, that's when the fish were out at Broadhurst Way, and they were catching 30s and something, but in a Bowling Green we were still catching them like 16, 20 a day sort of stuff, and they were fun times. But the feel you get with our big tournament is especially back we had, and I was very fortunate to be involved when we had the quarter deck, and it was a great venue. And back then the game boats, all the commercial boats used to come to Townsville and kick off their seasons there, so it was a big catch up for everyone. So I remember one year when I was running the tournament, we ended up with close on 40 boats, and pretty much that was just about the whole commercial fleet fishing out of town. It was amazing. That was amazing. Probably my most special memory was back in Naughty Suzanne in the year that we won when I was skipper. And it was a private boat, and it's first year a private boat sort of ever won that, and I was pretty proud of that. Backing in, and everyone was there cheering and stuff. It was great fun. That was a big week.
The club has cycled like most do, being around for the 40 years. Clubs do tend to go up and down. When I first rejoined the club, very buoyant, a lot of people fishing, big boats. I remember the comps were just outstanding. You'd come back to the quarter deck, there'd be 20, 30 really big boats coming in after really successful comps. I became president in 2009, I think it was, so the year after the 2008 GFC. So there was a bit of a lull in that period, and sponsorship for the tournaments was probably our main issue, just trying to get that going again. But over recent years there's been a real shift into family orientation in juniors, because they're the future of our club, I guess. And it brings together, I guess, people with a common interest and a common goal. Socialising, there's always a lot of people around you. They're always having fun. The fishing's almost secondary sometimes. It's about getting out on the water and enjoying what's out there, the whales, the other sea life, whatever. But the people in the club, because there's such a variety of people, you don't often get big egos and things like that, so it's always welcoming. People want to talk to you, people interested in the past of the club, what you used to do, and like I said before, it doesn't matter what your background is, everyone's welcome, and it's a very nice place to be. A lot of the time we used to fish down at Cape Bowling Green, which is a bit further south from here. It's a fair run, probably 30 or 40 nautical miles. So we decided to get a barge down there one year, carry people's fuel, have food and barbecues and things like that on there, and have basically a beach party on the spit. Probably not the smartest move for people waking up the next morning, but that was a really good night. A lot of laughs had on the beach, bonfires, which we weren't supposed to have, but did. And yeah, to have the cruise from about 30 boats up on the beach for hours, yeah, very good. Probably one of the better memories.
It was Mickey Mouse. We fished in all weather. And I think if you're going to wait for calm weather, you're not going to catch fish. And we went every weekend, didn't matter what the weekend was like, whether it was Jimmy Dalling and Calvin Tilley and myself, we'd just pound our way down to Bowling Green and we'd be fishing big seas and we'd catch plenty of fish. Don't worry about it, plenty of fish. You know, you got to go anyway, and as long as you're going for a weekend, you're going for a day is no good, but if you're going for a weekend, we ran an AIBT where we was so rough, we were told we couldn't fish, and the people were all come from all over the world to fish it. So we ran along the beach, along the inside of the Cape, till we got out to Bowling Green, and then we went out to sea as far as we dared. We got 107 fish on the first day. And that's what fishing's all about.
Oh, fondest memory of the club would be like when we're down at Bowling Green and every boat was catching 20 fish a day, 10 fish a day, a dozen fish a day. It just was endless. Bait schools that were just acres and acres of bait, hundreds and hundreds of gannets. The water was just alive with fish, you know, and multiple hookups, you know, pods of sailfish, 10, 12 sailfish in a pod rising at the same time, 5 rods out, 5 rods on, you know, marlin popping up left, right and centre, and double hookups, triple hookups. It was just unbelievable, you know. The guys of today just haven't experienced what we had back in those early days in the mid-80s, especially the early 90s to the mid-90s. It was just unbelievable fishing off Townsville, Cape Bowling Green.
Our champion female angler with 1 black marlin on countback was Nikki Beetham on beeline. And our champion male angler tagging 3 black marlin was Ryan Kenny on Makira. And our champion team, Makira. And for our first place win, don't make your way back too quickly, boys. $21,775 and purchased themselves was the team Makira.
40 years. 40 years is a long time. We put that into perspective. When this comp first started, if you go back 40 years, it was halfway through World War II. 40 years on, we're still going with this club now. It has 4 generations of club members, and it's a huge effort that this club has been able to run it so successfully for so long. Bernie asked me to comment from my 3 perspectives as a competitor, a spectator, and a previous organiser. Obviously, I can't condense that into an introduction to what the video is going to show, but to help, I will also ask when, where, how, and why. So the why is to give you the best opportunity to have a good time, to make memories so you can play the Who Remembers game, and who knows, even you maybe might catch a billfish. So please enjoy the following segment. Listen to what these people have to say. They're all stalwarts of the club from over the last 40 years. Thank you.
Get aboard the Townsville Billfish Challenge 96, commencing Saturday, August 31st through to Thursday, September the 5th. Throw out a line in this electrifying and competitive tournament with a chance to win $55,000 in cash prizes. The Townsville Billfish Challenge 96. For details on how to enter, contact the Townsville Game Fishing Club. The Townsville Billfish Challenge 96, proudly supported by these sponsors and Win Television.
Some teams competing in the Billfish Challenge apparently take their drinking as seriously as their fishing. After a strike early yesterday, the boys aboard Ballock 3 were celebrating when they realised their supply of amber liquid was fast running out.
Emergency situation, there's only light beer left.
So one thing can save us, the helicopter.
A win at the Townsville Casino made their expensive decision easier.
I'm donating the winnings from last night for the carton.
The pilot who got the distress call understood their plight.
I enjoy fishing, and you can't go without beer when you're fishing. They just don't bite.
Once he'd ensured it was by the book, he made the 38 nautical mile trip out to sea for the unusual drop. The cost of a $55 carton of beer blown out to nearly $900, but for the thirsty anglers, it was worth every cent.
Go, Dalmatian!
Well, that's as they say, nothing's too much trouble on the Ballock, and we're happy to be of service.
The comps probably have varied over the years, and it's just based on the economy, what people can fish. Recent years it's built back up again, and that's due largely to the work of the committee. But they're not only a fishing comp, they're a social event, and I think that's why most people come. Everyone that's been that ever talks about what they liked most about the comps is how social it is, how welcoming it is, the parties before and after. Maybe not so much the before one, because most people are regretting that the first morning, but yeah, the comps give an opportunity for people who want to fish seriously, and for people who want to just be involved in the comp, not necessarily going out to win, but just to be part of it. They're welcome as well. We've had small boat categories, big boat categories, so we're trying to include everyone, junior categories. So yeah, look, the comps really bring people together who want to socialise together, and still give them the opportunity to fish for points and for prizes if they want. Yeah, I think most people really come for the social side of it, especially that first night meet and greet. It is a big night, and the gala presentation, we did move away from that a couple of years because of the economy, but we're now back to a big event, which is good. I think it really makes it a night, and everyone looks forward to having that as well. Fishing wise, yeah, look, there are people who are competitive and want to try and win it. We all go in it to win it, but it still allows you to be very social about it and have fun, and that's the main thing. I think for myself, fishing is fun. It's a release from work. The competition just gives that extra little edge to it, which, last day if everything's close, it gets the adrenaline running, and you look forward to seeing how you go.
The club's morphed from the early years where it was a bit of a boys club to the sort of the direction it's taken the last few years, where we've really pushed the family side of it, and it's been for the better, 100%. You're just seeing new people, new faces, people getting out there and just enjoying it, and with their families, it's really, really good to see.
These days we bring the whole family into it. We have kid comps, we have kid game fishing comps, we have ladies days, we have Sharkies events which bring the whole family together, and even in our Billfish competition we now have a lot of ladies that fish it. We have ladies teams that fish it. Then we have Christmas parties and presentation nights where all the kids and families come along, and it's more of a family event these days, so everyone gets to come and enjoy it as a family.
When I sort of started getting involved with the club, there wasn't a lot of kids. Now I'm not sure of the numbers, but there's a lot of kids involved here, and it is, there's a lot of mums and dads here now that are actually fishing. It's good to see, and all the little kids coming through, keep doing what we're doing.
I find too that the girls are no slouches, and they're the more ones that are willing to listen. They don't, where the boys have got that ego, they go, you can't tell me, I know what I'm doing. But my wife can rig a bait 20 times bigger than I can, better than I can, and quicker. So we were pretty lucky, and it just rubbed off to everyone, and now it's where we are now.
Well, when I first started off, there was only a few women into game fishing in Townsville, and as more of the guys got slightly bigger boats and were more comfortable going out wider and found the fishing grounds, and wives got interested, couldn't work out why these guys were going out all the time, and so they decided to go along too, and we were basically there to make lunch and what have you, but then you'd tell friends and females, and then they got interested, so it built up. It's a great concept, and it's certainly got a lot of females interested in fishing, and anyone that has got, doesn't matter whether it was a billfish or not, just to catch a mackerel or something, and they get such a buzz out of it, and a group of women fishing together, the stories you hear, it's a ton of fun. It's really, really good.
I'm not a fisherman at all or fisherwoman at all, but Ladies' Day is a way to raise money for local charities. I just like the concept of that, and we always just have a good day. It's actually not a day, it's a weekend, and we just have from the registration on Friday night until presentations today, it's like a weekend for ladies. It's just a good day.
I love that the club has put this on and has been able to get the boys to support the ladies in fishing. So we have people that want to jump on our boat and deck for us, or help us out for the day, just to be able to support women in fishing. So it's a good opportunity for all of us ladies to get together. A lot of the times we've got kids running around, or we're busy doing other stuff, and we get this one day which turns into a weekend where it's just about the ladies, and we get looked after and we get to fish, and it's awesome.
So the Barra side is also a good event that our club runs. Helps make money for the club for the year to run our events, and it's become one of the bigger money-making comps that we run now. And a lot of the club members are into barramundi fishing as well. So we do that, and we have 60 teams now that fish the Barra Bash, and it's a great event for the club. So we've been running it for the last 10 years, and yeah, it's just getting bigger and bigger every year. So.
I think it's the way it's going now. If you went on the last 2 years, they're going to need to probably start renting out the casino to run a meeting. It's growing that quick, and seems to be every time you talk to somebody, there's another new person here, and yeah, the club is growing very, very fast.
We need to be thankful for the mates that we've got together in this club that have all got the same attitude. And the same reason for hanging around, the love of the sport, the respect of the sport, and the friendships that are formed. I think if we continue to go along those roads and respect each other and respect the sport, this club will be around forever.
Alrighty, we're here tonight to honour someone who has been a massive part of the Townsville Game Fishing Club for the 40 years in which it has existed.
This person represents exactly what the Townsville Game Fishing Club is all about: camaraderie, friendship, encouragement, and the love of the sport of game fishing and all that it encompasses.
The Townsville Game Fishing Club currently has 9 life members, and it is our absolute honour to be able to induct the 10th life member and the first female life member, Valerie O'Brien.
You going to stay a member?
Till they kick me out, till I get in that box and they drop me at Bowling Green. I'll have my ashes scattered at Bowling Green. Yes, definitely.
The most wonderful lady, absolutely, and an absolute superb fisherman. She has got the touch. She's very, very switched on. She's no dill. And she grew up in she come through the club in a good era too, when it all kicked off, and it was very keen. They were all keen, and Peter wouldn't, like, there was no way Val was staying at home. Val, you're coming, and that's it. It didn't matter if it was 30 knots or 5 knots. But Val, you wouldn't, mate. It didn't matter thick or thin, rough. She'd be on the deck, would not leave the deck, and that's how you were taught. You're not fishing if you're not on the deck. You're not in there watching television or lying down, and that's it. That's old school, and she still does it now.
I think Mum will keep fishing. Once we're fishing and we're out there, she doesn't leave the cockpit. She's still pitch baiting to off the teaser. She's still free spills as good as anyone I've seen. She doesn't whinge or carry on when it is rough. It's just she gets in and just does it. I'm sure there's days where she goes, "Oh, do I really have to go?" But I think deep down she's a bit of a competitor, and she'll get out and do it anyway. Probably not from a fishing aspect, but my mum's a bit of a role model, and the life we've had. Obviously, we've got a brother who's got cerebral palsy, and a lot of her efforts have gone to raising him and caring for him and putting herself out there for him. Never puts herself first. So it's just awesome to have a mum like that.
I think she's a bit like our matriarch. She's up there. She probably doesn't see herself like that, but I think a lot of us do see her like that.
Valerie, thank you for absolutely everything that you have done for the Townsville Game Fishing Club over 40 years, and to have promoted the sport and to have welcomed so many new friends into your family. We cannot thank you enough, and we love you dearly.
She encourages everyone, celebrates everyone. Yeah, she's a special person, very special person.
What does she mean to you?
To me, exactly that. Oh man, just thank you. Without even knowing it, you've shown me so much. I think for taking the time, always taking the time.
Val, words can't express it. Appreciate what you've done for me and to Janelle, the friendship you've shown us over the years. You're just such a wonderful person, and it's been an honour to know you.
I've watched presidents come and go in the game club, and the friendships you create, people you meet, some real crazy and some long-time friends. It's been a lot of fun. We've had all sizes of boats to go in and fished in the roughest of weather, partied hard, and fished even harder.
What happened, Val?
Yucky poo, he spat it out. He didn't like it. It's the right colour.
Better luck next time.
Yes, thank you. He got cut off with a teaser. Sad.
What was it?
I don't know. It was a big fish.
Oh, now you can say what you want to say.
No. You're rolling that camera. I'm not. Better be very polite.
As our platters of sweets are delivered to your table, I'd like to acknowledge the TGFC committee members who've all worked so hard to make this evening such a huge success. Let's give them a giant round of applause. And of course, we would not have this event, the TSG Dakin Billfish Challenge, without any of our very generous sponsors.